descending. Over the last several years, it seems he is descending. He can't shoot it as well. Maybe he's a tiny fraction of a step slower. Boogie Cousins, has been an on again, off again kind of presence in terms of the way he fits in the team, but the numbers say really off again. Their plus minus is not good with him. They're kind of like an average-ish team, a little bit better with him on the floor, and much, much better with the Hamptons 5. Like with Iguodala on the floor, who, by the way, he's like another Vince Carter in the way he's aging. What a career Iguodala has had. Yeah. Still really a really good player. But they're thin. The bench is thin. Livingston not having a great year. So they got the Hamptons 5, which is probably, they're still probably the best team in the NBA, probably. But probably not as good as last year and vulnerable. Now, what are they up against? The Rockets got to a Game 7. Yes, it was at home, but it was still a Game 7 in which they had one of the worst shooting nights in the history of basketball.
That still don't mean they're to beat them, though.
They have 2 All-Stars on the team. One of them wasn't available, didn't play. Still only a single-digit loss. That was last year. The Rockets, since they're back full squad, are like 20-3. They hardly ever lose anymore. And if that were the only threat to the Warriors, you'd say, well, how much worse off are they really? But this year, out of the East, is going to come either a fully loaded Milwaukee squad with Brogdon and Mirotic. We haven't even seen how they look with Mirotic. A Toronto squad that looks like they're capable of winning a championship. Don't forget, the last time the Warriors played a Kawhi Leonard team that was well-coached and good, they were losing by 20-something points at the half when Kawhi got hurt. He's on the Raptors now, which is a better team than the Spurs were then. More talented and deeper. And also well-coached.
Don't agree.
How about even a Celtics team if they can ever figure
it out? The Celtics don't stand a chance,
the Warriors not as good,
y'all play too much.
Houston still poses the exact same threat. But now there's a threat out of the East. Of course they're worse off than they were last year.
Not at all. Not at all. Because I think the time has come. Again, we're talking about the offensive player that DeMarcus Cousins is. He's averaging 16 and 8 on 48% shooting. That's exponentially more offensive production than they got from the center position. Now, we can point to defensive liabilities and what have you, but we've had Draymond Green, we've had Steve Kerr and other coaches on staff explain that things are not as bad as they seem with DeMarcus Cousins. It's a collective effort that has been compromised to such a degree, and I'm crediting that to the fact that the Golden State Warriors, winners, champions in 3 of the last 4 seasons, back-to-back champions right now, didn't necessarily spend too much time prioritizing defense at intervals, which has frustrated Steve Kerr periodically, along with Draymond Green and some others periodically throughout this season. As the playoffs have approached, when DeMarcus Cousins was on the court against Denver the other night and gave it to Jokic for 28 that day, when he showed up and dropped 21 the other night against the Lakers as well. This guy has the ability to put points on the board. So whatever you're compromised, whatever or however you're compromised defensively, he more than makes up for it with the level of offensive production that he's giving you from that position compared to the days of a JaVale McGee, a Zsa Pachulia, an Andrew Bogut, or anybody else. I look at it, I look at the fact that they're playing at the Oracle for the very last time, that this could definitely be the end. When you talk about that foursome, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and DeMarcus Cousins, there's a legit possibility that 3 of those 5 will be gone next season. The end is near. They sense it. It's definitely the end when it comes to playing
but what
at
if
the
it
Oracle. All of those motivational things combined with DeMarcus Cousins' offensive production and prowess with the acquisition of Andrew Bogut now added to the mix as they brought him back from down under. I view them as being in a better position this year. They've just been waiting for the playoffs to begin. You'll see what's going to happen to everybody once the playoffs begin.
I love
They're already great.
They
don't need Bogut.
I think he's a really smart player, great passer, great scorer, the whole thing. Can shoot for a big guy, the whole thing. Obviously, defensively, he can be a liability on defense at times. And obviously, especially in a pick-and-roll league, you can probably exploit that. But Stephen A., that said, it's not about the numbers that he accumulates personally. We know he can do that. Especially in this day and age, it's about whether your team offensively is more or less efficient with you on the floor. And it's clear they are less efficient when he gets
they stand around watching him do what he do.
You could say no, but I'm saying like that's what happens. That's 1. 2. We can debate that, and I'm sure we will. How's the locker room this year?
Well, the locker room it's fine now. At the beginning of the year, it was worse. It's fine now. They're
It's
fine.
fine.
Yes.
Maybe.
You've been in it recently?
Huh?
You've been in it recently?
Not the last 2 weeks, no.
So we may be hearing different things about what's going on.
Okay.
But it seems to me that the way they've played throughout this year, and realize, we know we're splitting hairs here, they're a great team. They're probably the best team in basketball.
Right.
That's how talented they are. But the way they've played throughout this season reflects a locker room that is not the best, no?
Okay, well, with all due respect, and I say this very, very respectfully to my brother and my partner, I'm going to rely on my knowledge when it comes to the NBA more than yours. That's number one. Number two, and more importantly, when you talk about the offense and you talk about the level of production that they're not having, Max Kellerman, I say context is everything. If you've been playing with one another and there's no trades and there's nobody to integrate into the scheme of things, there are no sacrifices. Everybody knows their role. There's nothing that's being figured out. So you go out on the court and you play, which was essentially the situation with the Golden State Warriors the last 4 years. What happened this year? DeMarcus
They got some
Cousins gets
beef.
hurt last year. He's supposed to be out. Comes back earlier than anticipated from the Achilles tail. Returns, I think it was like January 18th. You're trying to ingratiate him into the culture, the offense, and everything that comes along with it. So I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying it's out of context because there are
saying it's out of
sacrifices that
context.
everybody was willing to make in order to get him to where you know you will need him to be come postseason time. When that's happening, that lends itself towards you making those sacrifices that will compromise your fluidity, and as a result, you may not look the same as you normally did during the regular season. But what I would ask you, Max, is chill out, take a pause,
Pump your
sit
brakes.
back, wait for the postseason, and then tell me what you see.
This is what I'll say.
Then.
This is what I'll say. Boogie Cousins does things that gives him another weapon. And what I'm talking about in terms of more or less efficient, and by the way, when Isaiah was on and he was arguing with me, obviously, or I was arguing with him, that he was talking about Golden State can score in 5 ways, not just threes, not just at the free throw line or in the paint, but on the blocks and mid-range. And those 5 things are harder to guard than 3 things, and I wouldn't deny that. My point is, when you have that extra way to score that is less efficient, but nevertheless it's an extra option, call that a Boogie Cousins in this case, it is
Call that a go
important
boogie.
to know how to balance that, how to use that really judiciously, because the temptation is to go to that more often than you should. And I think that's what Golden State has in terms of the efficiency issue on offense with Boogie in the lineup. And they got to figure that out by the playoffs or during the playoffs, because the crowd is tougher, the field is tougher than it's been during this Golden State run.
All I'm saying is I'm not concerned because they were waiting for this. Everything was about April, May, and June. What you saw was preparation, practice, exhibition for now. That's all I'm saying.
Here's what I know.
That's all I'm
sources
saying.
Just gut feeling. I don't think this team's staying together, so I just want to enjoy it.
Ah,
Seeing this
Molly,
dynasty
and if I
one
ask you
last
what you know,
time
Molly.
until
Because
they
they know they don't intend to stay together.
separate it. All right, when we come back, is today the day that Stephen A. retires? Accident waiting to happen? What about
No.